Beep beep. What is up, ninjas? My name is Sam World and I make music production and sound design videos for dance music here on YouTube. Now, in the ideal world, we would be able to put as many sounds as we want into a track and it would sound great. You wouldn't have to do anything. But if you've been producing for a while, you know usually that the more sounds you put, the harder it is to get a balanced mix. And one of the reasons for this is due to frequency masking. Now, if you don't know what frequency masking is, pretty much it's going to occur when you have two sounds that are playing and taking up similar frequencies. And usually they're going to fight, and usually the louder one will be the one that prevails, and you will hear it in the front of the mix, while the other one, well, you'll still hear it. It's going to sound messy. Now, here's an example of that. Here I have the main ARP of a track playing with a second lead, and it's going to sound like this. Okay, so that doesn't sound that great, and obviously there's one big issue, and it's going to be that big second, like sort of like Bright Lights Weekend kind of lead, which is going to sound like this. Okay, now in relation, the main lead in this track, which, you know, usually when you start a track, you're going to have a main lead, is going to be this ARP melody. I really like it. But as you guys note here, as we look at the frequency range of it, it's going to be pretty much very mid-low to mid-heavy. And then from there, the highs sort of dwindle out. Now, the cool thing about this lead is, in theory, if you want to be the perfect producer, is that you're going to pick sounds that are going to kind of accentuate the lead. So I'm going to pick more higher frequency-based sounds, more mid-high, high-heavy sounds, because this lead is already covering the mid-lows. But sometimes you might want to put, like, let's say, this nice top lead, which is going to be... Now, the problem with this now is the fact that both of these leads are taking up mid-lows and mids. And the second biggest problem with this now as well is the fact that the body of both of these leads is going to land in the mid-low range. And this is the recipe for frequency masking. Two sounds fighting for that spotlight, and obviously the lead shines and it prevails. It beats the shit out of the ARP. But the problem is it does it in a horrible way and it sounds messy. So how can we get both of these leads to sound good together and make the mix sound a lot better? Okay, now there's a tool, and this is the main reason why I'm making this video, and that is going to be Neutron 3 Equalizer. Now, this is part of the Neutron 3 suite, which is made by Isotope Inc. And pretty much what I'll usually do when I'm working on a song is I'll put it on what I'm trying to compare. Now, obviously, most of the time, trust your ears. And from there, if you say, oh, there's something suspicious happening here, you know, like Nancy Drew, then you can kind of run this. Don't just rely too much on it, because then the problem there is that you're being super analytical about your production. Okay, so I have this on the main track ARP, and then I'm going to have it on the main second lead there. And then from there, both of them are on, and now I'm just going to compare. Now you can see this orange outline is going to tell us where there might be some frequency masking occurring. Now usually, as you can see with this lead, you might let it slide, but not Sen. Sen is on the quest to making a perfectly clean mix. However, if I increase the sensitivity just for sake, because some people will have sounds where, like, even with a low sensitivity, this thing is going to be going ape shit. It's going to be like this. You're going to start seeing these little markers. And those markers are just going to tell you where a lot of the masking is occurring. Okay, so I'm going to bring this back down to where it needs to be. Okay, so how do I fix frequency masking? Well, the easiest way is to make the sounds work as a team. Obviously, we already have the main ARP lead, and that main ARP lead is juicy fat, and it's a $2,000 ARP lead because it's from the matriarch. God knows I paid a lot for it, so it better sound good. But, you know, again, I want this to shine, right? And this is already providing enough body for the track. And then you got the bass as well. So this second lead shouldn't really be taking up those frequencies. Those frequencies are already taken up. It should go find another damn girl. Okay, so how do we fix it? Well, the obvious and more logical thing to do would be to, you know, EQ it out. But let's assume you're like suspicious about me making this video, and you're like, I think you can lower the volume. Okay, so let's try lowering the volume on this, and let's make sure here. We'll just turn this off, and we'll lower the volume on this lead. And now let's hear it in the track. I mean, my senses are saying that lead needs to be louder. So, so how can I make it louder, but at the same time, again, have the main ARP lead and the lead, this damn lead, like work well together? Well, obviously, again, with frequency masking, you got to frequency it out. So what I'm going to do right now is just go into my matriarch ARP setting here, and then at the bottom right, at the bottom of here, I can switch between both the second lead and the ARP lead's EQ. So second lead, I'm gonna grab this EQ, I'm gonna kind of create this band and lower it down. Now let's take it off and see how it sounds like. Put it on. Okay, so it definitely sounds a little better now. Now let's hear them together, because God knows the mix on this track needs work. Okay, so obviously a lot better. Okay, so we're gonna leave that on there. Now, the other issue in this track, and again, I obviously undid stuff on this track because, you know, Sam wouldn't be doing mistakes like this. But again, I might seem like an asshole. I'm just trying to be funny, guys. But the next thing that I had issues with in this track was using the stamp pad. And again, same issues. If I look at the EQ rate of this pad, it's covering a lot of mids and some mid-lows, just a tiny bit. So obviously I have a lot of stuff going on in the song already, and these pads are just clogging it up. But I have another issue. I need atmosphere in the song, because if I get rid of this pad, it just kind of sounds... You know, Sen needs some atmosphere in this. So from there, I came up with these EQ here, where I kind of lowered down the mids on it, mid-side EQ. However, if we put, again, the Neutron 3 equalizer on this, it's also going to tell me that this pad is causing some huge issues. So I'm going to put it as a pad EQ, and again, I'm going to go back to my main matriarch ARP, because this is the lead that I want to have presence in the song. And then from there, I'm just going to switch that second lead to the pad, and then from there we can kind of compare. And yeah, this pad is definitely causing issues, obviously. So again, the simplest thing to do is going to be to EQ out this portion here and bring it down. And notice when I put the Neutron 3 equalizer on it, it also helps clean it up a little bit. Now, again, you know, the issue with doing stuff like this is the fact that you run the risk of just thinning out the song a lot. So obviously don't be super precise with what you're doing with it, but the idea is to clean it up. So now we can kind of have this. So as you can see now, it's helping a lot in the track. So from there, we have the section in the song where we kind of go a little synth wavy. Okay, so again, just the same thing. We'll kind of compare. So a few issues with the ARP lead. So what I'm just gonna do is again, just to cue this a little better. Okay, so just a couple of adjustments, but from there I can kind of keep taking it further and further. But again, hopefully this kind of increased the idea on you on what frequency masking is. It's just when two sounds take up the same frequency range and they're fighting for it. And you know, the coolest thing that you can do, if honestly you don't want to deal with frequency masking, is make good decisions in the song. So for instance, if you have a lead that sounds big in the mid-lows and mid-highs, then obviously instead of putting a lead that's going to take up the same frequencies, maybe you might find one that sounds better at higher frequencies. Again, so you might have something like this. Compared to just having it be super low. Now, again, the reason why I decided to obviously keep it low and rather go with the EQ route is because I thought it sounded too cheesy when it's high up. So in the comments, you can let me know, no, Sen, higher up is the way. Or, yeah, I like it kind of low. It makes the track sound fuller, but you definitely have to clean it up a bit. But again, these are decisions that you're going to run into as a music producer where you might want to have a lead stay there and have those lower tones. So from there, you're going to have to clean up and get rid of frequency masking. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it helps in any way or form. If you didn't know what frequency masking is, now you do. And again, if you want to support the channel, make sure to check out evilsounds.com where you can find all of my sound design work. Hopefully, again, like I said, this helps, and I'll see you guys next time. It's kind of late and I'm going to head to bed. Peace out, much love, and take care.